Ladies and gentlemen, guys and girls, my name is Raven and welcome back to my channel. Now in today's video we're going to be talking about the Warriors Den livestream that happened last night. We got a whole bunch of info on the new tribute mode, okay? They sat down with the developers and they actually explained how this thing worked and they played it, so we got to see this thing in action. So today I'm going to be focusing mainly on that because that was pretty much the big thing of the stream. So what I'm going to do, first of all, I'm going to go through all the information that we have and all the clarifications we got, and then we're going to go and discuss a whole bunch of stuff that needs to be talked about. So the first piece of information is the fact that there is a timer when you're picking up flags and you're planting flags. So I was hoping there was going to be a timer, and they said there is a timer, and it's roughly the same amount of time as, say, rezzing someone. So that is pretty damn cool. The next piece of info we got was when you're carrying a flag, if you get hit by an attack, even if you block it, you will drop the flag. And of course, if someone does a move to you, like they shoulder bash you over, stuff like that, you'll drop it as well. The only way to not drop a flag if someone hits you is to parry the attack. Now, there is a second part to this as well. If any teammates hit you, you will drop the flag as well, okay? So friendly fire is a thing. We'll be talking about that later. Now, the next thing to talk about is the fact that when you actually plant a flag, you cannot pick it up and put it in another shrine. The only way a flag can be removed once it's been planted is by an enemy, okay? So you can't pick it up if you say put it in the damage buff. You can't pick it up and go, cool, I want a defensive buff now, and then put it over there. You need to wait for someone to steal it. You then need to kick their ass and then take it back and put it wherever you want. So there is some strategy when it comes to planting your flags, and you need to make a conscious decision when you're doing it. Now, the next one is for every buff that you have, your respawn timer is increased by 10 seconds, okay? So if you have all three buffs and you do manage to die somehow, even though you're pretty much a god, you will have an extremely long respawn time. So that's one thing you have to keep in mind, especially if you get executed and your friends can't pick you up. And one of the biggest things, and probably one of the biggest things to discuss later on as well, is the fact that when you pick up a flag, you have a 28% movement speed debuff, okay? So you are slower. But there are a few other things that need to be said when it comes to that, because when you pick up the Vindicator buff, you have a speed buff when you're carrying flags, which will probably cancel out the, movement speed debuff. And if you use any feats or anything that actually speed up your character, those things still work, okay? And they aren't affected by the movement speed debuff. So I do have a few things to say about that later. And the last thing I want to touch on before we get into the discussion part of this video is the fact that next week, on Thursday, there will be a public test for the new tribute mode for PC only. So I am going to be jumping on and I am going to be testing this thing out, but based on previous public tests, it's going to be a clusterfuck, okay? No one's really going to be on to test this thing because it's PC only. They only have about 5,000 players tops across both Steam and Uplay. So there's going to be barely anyone playing this thing, and the devs admitted it themselves live on stream last night, okay? They said, and they tried to laugh it off, but they did say that the reason why they keep doing everything on PC is because it's easier. I've been saying this for the longest of times. They're doing it for PC only and not consoles because it's just the easy thing to do. With consoles, they do have to wait for, like, certifications and stuff, and that for them is too much work. So even though the majority of the player base is on the consoles, and the best way to test these things is to actually test it on the consoles, but they just want to test it on the PC because it's easier for them, it's less work, and they just throw it up there. They don't have to worry about certifications, and they did admit it, okay? So I am going to jump in. I am going to try and test this thing out. I'm probably not going to be able to get a game just like the tournament mode. It's not going to get tested properly. It's going to get thrown out onto the live version like the tournament mode, and it's bound to have some issues, but we'll have to wait and see. But for anyone who is playing on the PC next Thursday, there is the public test, and I'm pretty sure you can preload it a little bit beforehand, like a day or so beforehand. So keep that in mind. Alright, so moving on to the discussion part of this video. Now, one thing I want to get out of the way first, and that is the fact that at the start, when they were talking about the tribute mode, they tried to pass it off so goddamn hard that it's not just the capture the flag mode. And it was the funniest thing to watch that I've seen in a long time from these guys. It was almost as funny as the whole, we have 1.3 million player bullshit that they tried to pass off. And it was funny because they went on this long rant about how it's not just capture the flag, it's so deep, it's so meaningful, and they tried to, just play it off as this big unique mode, and then throughout the rest of the stream they pretty much just kept calling it capture the flag, okay? They're like, oh, so you walk up and pick up the flag, and the guy's like, oh, I mean tribute, you pick up the tribute. I'm like, dude, it's a fucking flag, you're playing capture the flag. And then after a while they sort of just gave up, okay? The guy's like, yeah, so you get the flag and then you plant it in the base. I'm just like capture the flag. It was just really funny to see them have this big spiel at the start saying how it's not capture the flag. They were denying it so goddamn hard, and then you just watch throughout the stream they just slowly slowly devolved into just calling it what it is, capture the flag. You pick up the flag, you put it in the base. I don't know about anyone else who watched that, but I did find that pretty goddamn funny. But the first thing I want to talk about, and the thing that I think might be a bit of an issue, is the fact that there is a timer when you're planting flags. Now, I want to say I think it is a good idea to have a timer when you're planting a flag. That is a needed thing. But there is one issue I can see arising with this, and that is the fact that you can get characters like Peacekeeper and stuff, fast characters, who will troll the shit out of you, okay? So if you're trying to plant a flag in a base, what they can do if they really want to is just dash forward, light attack you once, dash back, and then they'll stop you from doing it. And then you either have to try and fight them, or you pick up the flag and try and go again, and as soon as you try and plant that again, they just dash in, tap you once, and then dash out, and you drop the flag. So I can see that being extremely annoying when you're trying to actually, you know, plant a flag. And then of course you can have someone else come and, you know, try and defend you. But if you're doing that, then that means that, you know, you're leaving the other flags open, and it just gets very messy, and it means that one assassin in your back lines can be really fucking annoying. So that is one concern I have there, but I do agree that there needs to be some sort of, you know, timer when you're planting the flag, and it's not just an instant thing. Now, the next one I want to talk about is the fact that when you get hit at all, you drop a flag even if you block it. The only way to stop that is parrying. I love all that. That is fine. Big thing I have a massive issue with, okay, and I've been playing online games for long enough to know this is going to be an issue, and that is the fact that your teammates, if they hit you, you drop the flag. I don't know who the fuck came up with that, but it's fucking retarded. Now, I think they did it because they're trying to, you know, push this whole, hey, you know, think about where you're swinging, don't hit your teammates, and all that sort of stuff. But let's be honest here, we're playing an online game with random people out on the internet. All it takes is for you to do one thing that pisses one of your teammates off, and he can just follow you around every time you pick up a flag, smack you in the back, and make you drop it. It's just going to be an open forum to just troll whoever the fuck you want on your team. And for anyone who's been playing online games for a decent amount of time, even a short amount of time, you know people on the internet can be dicks. So that is going to be the first issue. And the second one that's going to be a massive issue is the fact that when you get hit by an ally, you drop a flag. And if anyone has played Dominion, you know that you get hit by your teammates all the goddamn time. And we're not even talking on purpose here, okay? We're talking by accident. I even do it from time to time. I'll do a zone attack and I'll accidentally hit my teammate and stuff. The only difference is in this tribute mode, if you accidentally hit a teammate, they drop the flag. That can be a massive thing and can even be a game changer that will lose you the game. I have no idea why they put friendly fire on in this mode, and I think it's going to be an extremely bad decision, and it's going to go south pretty damn quick. So we'll have to see how that turns out. Now, the next thing is, I like the fact that they put in that you can steal flags, okay? This is really good because it means Shigokis and other heavies have a reason to be in the game. So now you can tell your Shigoki, the fat motherfucker, to go stand over there near the shrine, and if he sees any ninjas or little girls, to crack their skulls open. And he's going to be sitting there rubbing his tummy, eating some noodles, being super goddamn happy in his little corner near his shrine, because the fat motherfucker gets to participate, which is a really good thing. I like the whole strategy of having some people defend, some people go out. So like, you know, you have the big guys at the back, the assassins you send out to go steal the flags because they're super quick. It is a really good thing, and I really do like how they did that. Now, the next thing we have to talk about, and this is a pretty big one, is the fact that there is a 28% movement speed debuff when you pick up a flag. Now, some people are already going, yay, the assassins aren't going to be an issue. Well, not really. Few reasons for that, okay? First of all, when you pick up the Vindicator buff, you get a movement speed increase when you're carrying a flag. So logic would dictate that they need to make this thing semi-powerful for it to be, you know, even considered a buff, and for anyone to bother going for that over the defensive one. So logic would dictate that if you pick up a flag, you get a 28% movement speed debuff. If you have the Vindicator buff, you get a movement speed increase. So those two should pretty much cancel each other out, if not completely, which will mean assassins will be pretty damn quick. Now, they did say that a Shigoki running at normal speed will be as fast as a Shinobi with a flag running at normal speed, okay? Because that's how the movement speed debuff works. So they said a Shigoki should be able to catch a Shinobi who's carrying a flag. But if you give that Shinobi that Vindicator buff, he's going to be faster. And then on top of that, if you take any character who has a movement speed increase, say feet or something, that too will make them extremely quick, and the movement speed debuff doesn't affect that. So for example, if you take a Berserker who is already pretty quick, he picks up the flag, he gets the Vindicator buff, so he's moving pretty much at the same speed, if not say maybe a couple % slower, and then he pops his movement speed increase, and then next thing you know, you have a Berserker running around the map like Sonic the Hedgehog, and it's going to be pretty amusing to watch. And you have to keep in mind as well that the movement speed debuff applies to everyone, okay? So if you have a Shigoki and he picks up that movement speed debuff, the guy's going to be moving as slow as a goddamn turtle, which means anyone can just take a brisk walk after the guy, catch him, and then, you know, just like push him over. He'll fall on his back and he's useless. So yes, the movement speed debuff will be able to slow assassins down, but it will slow everyone else down even more, which means assassins will have no problem catching you and just making your day a living hell. And of course, the Vindicator buff and the normal movement speed buffs that you get from other things cancel that out anyway. So when you think about it logically, I don't think it's going to be that big of a deterrence. I think it might be a bigger deterrence for all the slower characters than it's going to be for the faster ones anyway, considering they're all inherently slow to begin with, and if they do touch a flag, they're pretty much going to be walking around in mud. But we're going to have to wait and see when it comes to that. And the last thing I want to touch on is the fact that when you have a whole bunch of buffs, you have an increased respawn time, and now that is to try and balance out the fact that you have all these buffs. But let's be fucking realistic here. If you have all 3 buffs, you can see where everyone is on the map, okay? So it's not like you're going to get surprised by a whole bunch of enemies, like turn a corner and there's 3 guys. With the Vindicator buff, you have a damage buff and a whole bunch of other buffs, and with the defensive buff, you also get a shield that regenerates on its own. So between those 3 buffs, you should be pretty much unstoppable, considering the person you're versing is just going to be a regular person. And you're walking around like a guy who's taken a whole bunch of steroids and you have no neck. So I can see what they're trying to do to balance that out, to sort of say, hey, if you do manage to die somehow, you're pretty much fucked up big time, so here's a massive penalty, which I'm fine with. But I think they're trying to balance that whole thing. They need to balance more around the actual buffs themselves, rather than trying to make it that if you do manage to die, you get just this massive penalty and you have to sit out in the corner for like 30 seconds. Might even be more. It might be like 40 seconds. However long the normal respawn timer is, plus like 10 seconds per buff. If you have all 3 buffs, you might be sitting out for quite a long time. And keep in mind, this will make rezzing your friends a pretty big deal, okay? Because if they get executed and they have all 3 buffs, you're not going to be seeing them for quite some time. Well, overall, guys, I do like the look of the mode. It looks like it's going to be fun. I can see a whole bunch of issues with it. Hopefully, I am able to find some games on the public test and I am able to actually test this goddamn thing out. But based on previous history, it looks like I'm not going to be able to test out anything because I'm not going to be able to get a game. But we will have to wait and see on that. But that is all I have for this video, so thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up, leave a comment down below, and let me know your thoughts. Now that we have more information, what do you think about the mode? Do you share my concerns? Do you not share my concerns? I would love to hear from you down below. And please share this video around, it helps me out a fuck ton. And if you want to see more videos from me, please hit the subscribe button. I shall see you all in the next video. Have a good one, guys. If I bleed